Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Mario Nawfal X Spaces. Hello, I am Pulse Digital, and I will be one of your co-hosts today, along with Buzz DeFi, as we guide you through a conversation about whether or not people are still buying AI coins. And we're going to be here with NeuraHub and guests today as we fill up our speaker panel for you. You can request to speak in these spaces. You can also comment in the bottom right. If you're somewhere where you cannot speak, the comments is the best place to be. Let us know what you're buying. Let us know what AI coins you're into. Shill down there for me. Let us know what you got going on. I always like reading through the comments. Share the spaces since we're live to your timeline or in a DM. Use the emojis if you can to let us know that you can hear everything and that you're enjoying the show. And lastly, watch the pin posts throughout the show. We're going to put some stuff up there about what we're doing at IBC. You'll see stuff from NeuraHub up there, and we will stop at a certain point and point that stuff out to you. Otherwise, sit back and relax and enjoy the best spaces on X. Buzz, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, I think that new Bitcoin all-time high has certainly overtaken the crypto Twitter narrative ahead of AI coins from over the weekend. Like I know we had some interesting conversations over the weekend regarding AI coins because people are just excited when they see AI do things that they can look at, feel, and touch without actually having to play around with it themselves. And I think people were really fascinated that hey, and AI can run a Twitter account and be semi-coherent. And I think that just really brought a lot of notoriety to the space and just more eyeballs on it. But I'm glad that we have a really good panel here today to discuss if people are still buying AI coins and kind of what that meta is. Because I know AGI, you're really in depth in the space and more of like a researcher and kind of know the technology and sort of where that's going versus just the hype cycles that we're currently in. So I think this is going to be a good conversation. We're here with NeuraHub. I think that's Dave behind the account there as well. Hey, Dave, how's it going today?
How are we, guys? Pleasure to see you guys again. It's going really well. The markets are looking great for us. Obviously, we're approaching a milestone today, so yeah, I think we're in for a great end to the year, crypto-wise. So, pleasure to see you guys, and looking forward to it.
I'm happy to have you here, man. It's going to be a good conversation. I can do AI for hours, and I know the panel that we've got here could also go on and on. But Buzz alluded to the number one thing that we have to talk about. We can't do the crypto daily hashtag without at least asking everybody how they feel about Bitcoin, because everything's going to eventually follow that. And Buzz keeps saying all-time high. I don't know that I have seen it exactly there, but I did see a post about the Canadian price being much more attractive than the American dollar price. I'd also be interested because I've heard people talk about the inflated all-time high and whether or not we should be celebrating the true all-time high, which is like 73 and change, or if we're supposed to adjust for inflation or not on any of that. But it is a big day. I do think everything is up a little bit. Buzz mentioned Doge was up a little bit earlier. I was talking about BNB being up and stuff like that. So just positive sentiment in general. Dave, down there at NeuraHub, for you seeing things go up like this, it's like you couldn't have asked for better timing for what you guys have got going on. But just generally end of Q4 holiday season and stuff, is this part of a normal crypto cycle, or what do you think's happening?
Do you know what, Pulse? I think we've all been waiting for quite a long time now. It feels like a few years, to be honest. But I mean, obviously, with the elections and everything else we have, inflation's obviously coming down. I think it's the great time for us. I know a lot of people were expecting a lot from October, but this is crypto. It never goes the way everybody thinks it will. But looking at it now, looking at the sentiment, I think we're in for a really good end to the year, mate, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned some of the pressure that was placed on October. You're talking about Uptober and how easily that's used on social media to a negative. Do you think this time around? Do you think people bought the hype too much, or they got too invested in that?
See, the thing is, I was someone that also used that term, but I think there's always a lot of things at play, and you can look at the price of a crypto, but you also need to look at the macro markets and what's actually going on around the world, you know. And I think it's one of these things where we have to be mindful of that, but at the same time, I think we're in a good position now. You know, you only have to look at crypto Twitter, and they've got a bit of hope again. You know, a little twinkle in their eye.
Yeah, well, I even saw people bull posting about NFTs. I know that's unusual. Like I was like, what's going on there? People are really getting loose out here if they're shilling JPEGs to me again already. It seemed a bit early for that. Meta Prime, it's been a minute since I saw you. Good to see you pull up on today of all days with Bitcoin moving. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Definitely excited to be part of this discussion here. Obviously, I think the Bitcoin rally is great. I expect that to continue. Bitcoin's always one of the best crypto investments, but you always got to keep your eye out for new things. And so I'm excited to hear what everyone's on this week.
Yep, it's going to be good. We're looking for that kind of alpha too. Ghostwalker, anybody behind the account right there? What are you walking? How are you doing, man? Is he going to talk, Dave? Do we get nothing?
Yeah, sorry guys, my bad. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Looking at the general sentiment, everything is screaming bull run, so let's go with it and see where it takes us. But happiness, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who would we be to get in the way of the general sentiment, right? I don't want to mess with it. And then the last speaker is at Siddharth. Siddharth, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for pulling up, man. AI conversations are always a place to be. And then last, I'll give you a chance. AGI markets are up. Things are going well. We've been in a few spaces lately. How do you feel today of all days?
Well, I feel great. So inflation is down, election are ending, so that will create certainty. Certainty is very good for the market, and I think elections are going to go very well. So we see the AI, of course, the AI coin, they are a little bit down, of course, right now. But that's something to be expected. I mean, those AI coin on that platform, they are just running Twitter account. They are not creating kind of any great value. So it's good for marketing. It's good to play with. But I will see. I think we will have great AI coin opportunities when that kind of AI agent are starting running, are starting to bring some utility, when they are able to do some kind of job that are useful and people will play with, will pay for that. And when those AI agents will also start businesses of AGI. So when those AI agents start enterprise, when those AI start to do some jobs that people will pay for, then owning a fraction of those kind of AI agent that bring a revenue, I think that will create a lot more value to own their coin. But right now they are running Twitter account. That's cute. That's a cute little thing, and I love that. So let's have a great space.
You know, another thing that's been building up right up to where we are right now, and I want to give credit to all of it, has been what the Ton Network has been doing and the rise of Telegram and how important that's been. Because there's been a lot of things over the last 6 months, if I go all the way back through the summer, a lot of memes and stuff that we could argue all day whether or not they were actually good for the space or not. But Telegram and the development that's occurred over there, both internally for apps and the things they've done with stars, and then externally for how they've enabled developers to work on things, has been a huge component to, I think, what sets up the potential for other things to happen, because communication apps are going to be crucial this time. And I'm going to take off my tinfoil hat in a minute, I swear, Dave. But between X right now and Elon's fierce defense of freedom of speech and the obvious crypto positive sentiment that you get on X, and then with Telegram and the fight that's been going on there to also, allow developers to work, I think it's bullish for Ton and for everything they've been doing over there. I know you agree because you're working on Ton and Telegram, but tell me more about the macro impact that you think Ton maybe has had, Dave.
You know what's actually interesting? So, I mean, I was lucky enough to meet a lot of the guys at the hackathon a few weeks ago in London, and what really hit home for me, Pulse, was the way that the guys that build the mini apps and build on the Ton network are able to procure the actual users on Telegram. See, it's no secret there's 950 million people. It's approaching 1 billion. But what really got me from meeting these guys is that these projects, they're able to go towards places like Binance for listings because of the pure user base that they can pull. I think Hamster Combat took 1 million new users over to Binance when they listed. So it's an untapped resource. We'll obviously cover it later in the space, but it's a real opportunity over. It's becoming the everything app, much like X is.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they've killed it in terms of product market fit. I mean, I think every social media platform struggles for attention, and like, how do we keep people on our app doing actions that we can monetize from? And Telegram has just discovered, like, hey, people in crypto, they hang out in Telegram. That's where they're getting the alpha. And if you look at just products within the Telegram app that have taken off, like BonkBot, just keeping people within Telegram, doing things like even crypto trading, and now with what you guys are doing with NeuraHub, I think is really cool, because rather than sending people to external AI agents to to create things or do research or whatever it may be, keeping them within an ecosystem is a very strong play by Telegram and Ton, in my opinion.
The development they've done too, they know that payment systems matter on Telegram too. That's something that they've got to figure out too. X has been struggling more with that, which I follow. Some of what they've done, I know they've followed through in a lot of places getting money licenses in individual states so that they can be money transmitters. But it seems like that process has been harder. But Telegram is allowing people to use things like stars and connect with crypto wallets and stuff. So their development seems to be more DeFi, maybe, I think. Ghostwalker, when you think about payment systems, I think Telegram's ahead of the curve way more than X, right?
Look, to be honest with you, I think Telegram and Ton in general have changed the game, and a lot of people are still trying to catch up. If you look at, they obviously struggled to get the licenses and stuff, and the simplest thing was, let's design our own thing, incorporate that into our platform, let everyone adopt to what we want, and just make it easier. I think we saw last week that Stripe actually pulled out of Telegram as well, which was quite a surprise. But the stars actually make it so easy. I mean, it's a very simple integration and works super well.
I think it's going to catch on too as more and more people find out, because it kind of slid in there. They put their updates out, and I don't know how many people actually read their Telegram updates, but when people figure out what the use value is, if you follow a channel or whatever, and you've ever lost a favorite channel because the creator just says it's not fiscally reasonable for me to keep running a channel, stars are allowing you to contribute, and I think that's a really neat way for them to keep creators on their platform. X's content creator payouts have been something that have been controversial multiple times, because either the amount that they were paying certain people was pissing people off, or the amount that some people thought they should be getting was too low. They've never really hit the sweet spot, I feel like that. But on Telegram, it's direct user contribution with stars. You can get it directly from your audience. And I think that's actually a better system than relying on X, because X moves the goalposts every damn month with what it seems like the new real reason is. You get creator payouts, so it's different like that. Go ahead, Dave.
You know what's interesting about the way that the stars work as well? I mean, I know a few months ago when Telegram ran into the issues, there was worries of it being taken off the app stores. I mean, if you use Telegram stars, what you're actually doing is you're helping Telegram to pay the app stores as well, because they take their commission. So, I mean, from Telegram's point of view, this is a masterstroke, because they become a huge revenue generator. So if you look at everything which uses the stars, that's also benefiting iOS and Android as well. So it puts these guys in a position where, a position of strength, if you will.
Just because taking them out of the app store is cutting off their nose to spite their face, they lose the revenue. Yeah, that makes sense. At least it's no different than paying the cops so you can keep doing the criming in a situation. Probably not the best analogy to use, but you know what I'm talking about, Dave. It goes all the way back to the mafia. Creative Owls slid into a speaker spot. I see you over there, man. We're talking about Ton and Telegram and stars. I think you've heard some of it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, just tapping into it, man. Great discussion around the Telegram thing. I think their owner a while back got in big trouble. They ended up doing a big data leak, and is it secure? There's a lot of transactions on there. It's pushing crypto, tons on there. So this is definitely a hot topic for crypto, for coins, and mass adoption. Right? There's a lot of people that are on Telegram already, and how's this going to affect them moving forward? So tapping in and looking forward to adding value to the discussion here.
Appreciate you pulling up, man. Good to see you here. When you think about it, not just because of Ton and the money they move on their own network, but the conversations on Telegram every day are responsible for, dare I say, billions of dollars of money movement, because the kinds of people who are having conversations, they're not always using Slack. And I can't speak for WeChat or any of those other apps, but I know that there are a lot of people that have these big chats on there. So when you talk about it was going to get taken out of the app stores and it was going to get removed, my first thought was, I don't know where everyone would flow to. And secondly, you saw that's probably why people defended it so strongly, or they defended him, because you mentioned the owner himself was specifically targeted by French authorities, if I remember correctly from the spaces we hosted that day. That was a long day, by the way. That was a crazy story. Pavel Durov getting arrested. He was invited to dinner by the president of France under a ruse. It was a red herring, and they arrested him at the airport, but he also knew this was coming. He arrived with his paperwork in hand overhead. So people were wondering if it was some sort of a masterstroke. It's crazy how much I remember of this, by the way. I talked about lore yesterday, Buzz, and how important lore is. He walked off that plane like a supervillain in a Bond movie. Like, I assure you, Mr. Bond, you shall find nothing on the plane. There's nothing illegal. It's so crazy to think. By the way, that's the worst accent I could have done for Pavel Durov. I hope he doesn't sue me. But it was ballsy, and it got, I think we talked about in the next week, millions of new users downloaded Telegram because the dude came off the plane, and then everybody's like, he's got 69 kids, and he's totally ripped, and, you know, he walked into France and didn't care. So I think it was all bullish for Telegram. My decision at the end of the day was I think it actually ended up being bullish. So here we are watching Bitcoin, dare I say, rip, at least maybe, and now we're celebrating Telegram? It's all right with me. Go ahead, Buzz.
I mean, you're definitely getting into the.
Polymarket?
Go ahead.
Are you familiar with Polymarket?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we're familiar with Polymarket.
Yeah, Polymarket had a big, I guess, a big thing over and under if he's going to get out before or after a certain date. And Polymarket was bumping it, and that was causing some attraction to that topic. Do you remember that, Buzz?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that market specifically. Was there a lot of volume on it?
Yeah, tons of volume on that. Oh, well, I don't know, tons of volume, no pun intended. But yeah, that's what caught my attention to the actual topic regarding that. And obviously, Polymarket does a lot of great topics, but that was one of them that got brought up on my radar. We do Polygon pancakes and predictions every Monday, and that was one of a very hot topic that we were talking. Is he going to get out of a certain date or not? Because people wanted to know, and I think the big thing is that. Was he going to snitch? Was he going to be able to provide data, right? And that's something that, come to find out, he was already working with Intel and providing data leaks and giving people numbers, because there are some true crimes, human trafficking and things on there that do need to be addressed and should not have no place in the world for.
Well, people often say that the battle between Discord and Telegram, like I think it all boils down to, I think a lot of degens are on Telegram just looking for new coins to snipe, and more like smarter money, more like a lot of NFT folks as well are kind of on Discord. I just think about like the correlation between how many crypto users are actually on Telegram and the amount of unstructured data that an AI could just feed off of to be gathering information there. What do you guys think of that, NeuraHub, Dave behind the mic?
So from what I gathered the other week, I believe there's only around 1% of the Telegram users which are actively engaging on the cryptocurrency on there. So there's so much growing room. It's one of these platforms. I mean, Pulse, obviously, you mentioned Durov. Let's not forget that this is his second social network. You know, he decided to make VContact first, didn't have enough pain, and decided to do it all over again. So, I mean, he's someone himself who's taken it to the heights. But now it is the alternative to Discord, isn't it? It seems to move a lot quicker on there. It's a lot quicker to move around, but it's also a place where you can do so much, you know, and a place we've been lucky enough to be a part of for years now.
That's interesting. Like, what are the bigger categories on Telegram other than crypto in terms of where the largest communities lay? Is it gaming, or where is it elsewhere on Telegram?
I'll be honest with you, I've not dived out too much, but what I've noticed recently, which is quite funny, is there's a lot of people which I've not managed to get into crypto yet, which are actually starting to join Telegram. So I think we're starting to see it much become, you know, your day-to-day WhatsApp kind of communications as well. So it's quite funny because it's happened at a time, like we say, with Durov and what's happened. But yeah, for me, I'm seeing quite a lot of organic growth that I didn't see a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember when Telegram would send you notifications if anyone in your contact list on your phone was joining. And a few years ago, the ongoing joke was that, oh, you joined Telegram. Are you buying drugs or are you buying crypto? But it's good to see the categories expanding.
My favorite thing about Spaces is always the empty air behind even a good joke, because there's no one that can really unmute in time. It is one of those chef's kiss moment in Spaces. That was a funny joke, and I laughed at it, and everyone laughed with emojis. It's just my favorite thing. Discord, when I think of Discord, I remember that it started mostly for gaming, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't its origins mostly gaming, and then other platforms came along and Twitch and some other stuff started to dominate as they diversified? Owls, am I right that Discord started heavy with gaming?
No, you're 100% right. That's where communities were playing League of Legends and nerding out and gaming out, you can say. And then somehow crypto people were trying to figure out, I think Shiba Inu came out, and then a huge community came around Shiba Inu inside Discord. And then next thing you know, they said, okay, NFTs, we're going to, try to build communities on Discord. I think the Bored Ape kind of led the way with big NFT projects back in the day. So you're correct.
I think some of it too had at the time to do with the fact that it was easier to do token gating and gatekeeping and securities on Discord, and Telegram hadn't quite evolved as far. Now we forget, looking backwards, maybe at what Telegram can do. But I think Discord was also being used just for simple token gating because NFT communities wanted to be isolated and gate kept that way. So I have to remind people that that's a thing too. MetaPrime, go ahead.
So Paul, here's two sides of the coins too. Is that the place where people get hacked the most is on Telegram. and also on Discord as well too, because people are clicking links, and that's where they're getting their wallets drained as well. So there's some pros and cons. I think it's just never ever click on a link or accept an invite from people you don't know. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. Go ahead, MetaPrime.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to point out that Discord, it actually was a game before it became a chat app. It was just the game. They had done such a good job of developing a like chat version or chat like feature inside that game. And then when the game kind of like flopped, like people were still using Discord as a way to communicate and stuff like that. So it's really cool to kind of see how those things have like evolved over time. Because I do think that the way that it's organized is very intuitive. It makes a lot of sense. They have a lot of good features around, like you have roles so that people have different levels of access to different rooms, and you can have the voice app as well as the the chat. So the functionality of Discord is pretty high, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if you see any future apps like largely emulating that. I feel like they've kind of hit the maximum strategy or the ideal configuration, and it's only a matter of time before I think that you'll see more competitors who are, or see things like Telegram moving closer in that direction. Like Telegram now has the what is it, the different like rooms right inside the chat groups that you can have. So it's, to me, Discord is kind of the chat group app to beat.
For the competitors for Telegram, I think WhatsApp try to build a community now, right, based off like some of the features that Telegram was doing, I saw. And then for Discord, I think Slack is like their competitor that's really trying to get after them. But I don't know if they have those type of integrations. But great point with what you brought up there.
Everybody wants a piece of that market share. We promised about halfway through the show we were going to do a little bit of a reset, talk about some of the pinned posts. No better time than now since the conversation's going well. Hi, everybody. If you just got here and you're wondering what's going on, we've been talking about AI coins, Telegram, Ton Network, stuff like that with the boys from NeuraHub today have pulled up. And I'm Pulse Digital. I'm co-hosting with Buzz. And I have asked you once already to leave some comments. If you just got here and you haven't done that, comment now, please. Down on the bottom right, tell us what AI you're interested in. Where are you generating your stuff? Did you know about NeuraHub's app yet? Have you heard about them at all? What are you into for tickers? Leave me a ticker down there or a CA. We'll read the whole thing. Also, share the spaces and use the emojis. Those buttons help us out greatly and stuff like that. And last, the pins that I promised have magically appeared above my head. You'll notice they are up there. There's one about the Discord that we talk about all the time. There's an IBC Discord, and we want to get you guys in there as much as possible so you can continue your conversation after the spaces about all the things we've talked about here with hosts and guests. So click on the link for the Discord and also the link for the Citizen Journalism News Team. Mario's account provides news from everywhere all the time, and we need citizen journalists to get that news. And if you think you'd be a good fit for that team, follow the link up top, and we could use you in the Citizen Journalism News Team. Go ahead, Buzz.
Thank you, Pulse. Great updates there, and definitely encourage people to join that Discord. But Dave, you mentioned a few interesting things earlier that I wanted to transition into. One was just surrounding that you were at an actual Ton event, kind of networking with some of the other builders there, and you were talking about exchange listings as well, and how some of these projects that we're building on Ton actually had a competitive advantage when actually going to them to list on Binance in an easier way because they had so many more users. What I wanted to transition to here, Dave, is what kind of support are you guys getting from the Ton network? Like, what has your experience been building there? Are they really fostering innovation and helping builders?
For our case, it's a bit of a funny one, Buzz. Obviously, I mean, we have our liquidity on Ethereum, but our target is very much Telegram. So we knew of Tom before that, but when we really started building towards the platform, we really got to know the guys. And I mean, for us, obviously, our benefits are we enable Tom payments, so it's we're able to go in and get access to a lot of this support, and we're also a part of the hackathon as well. And these guys have been great. There's groups for the UK, there's groups for the hackathon. These guys, not only is everything incredibly organised and well funded as well, I have to be honest. They have a real affinity. They've got a very good close knit collective over there. So we were lucky to meet quite a few great people. And it's with Ton as well. There's a lot of interest from everything from market makers to venture caps. To run into people like Adam Brand there was amazing. But what you find is that due to that huge user base and the potential with the mini apps now, I think it's a place where a lot of people are very focused on, including a lot of the exchanges. So, I mean, this is nearly 1 billion people untapped that can come over and become customers. Everybody realizes that.
Yeah, there's a huge opportunity with those untapped user bases there. Paul, I saw you unmute.
Well, I was just going to unmute and talk more to Dave about more stuff, but no, you got in there good. I'm also curious what you guys are doing because you've got a mini app on Telegram, and I've been trying to figure out Telegram mini apps. I bought myself some stars. I'll be honest. I bought some stars, but I haven't been figuring out what to do with them and stuff like that. So I'd like to ask a couple of people about Telegram mini apps, and if any of you are using them, because I didn't play Hamster Combat. I got to be honest. I didn't do any of that. Or the X Empire was one that I didn't tap into. The games really haven't been a thing to me. But the idea of utility apps on Telegram or finding something that's going to make my Telegram app allow me to leverage it better is exciting for me. So Buzz, do you have any Telegram mini apps that you actually already use or that you know about?
To be honest, like the most of the activity in what I do on Telegram is I use these trading bots. Like I find I'm always communicating on Telegram all day. I know most corporations will use Slack and things like that, but the new age crypto users are just kind of communicating on Telegram, and I find it very easy to see a contract address within a chat, paste it in, and trade from there. But the mini apps is not something I've dove into quite as much as maybe some of the other speakers here. If anyone is using any, would love to hear about it. I
Ooh,
see
thumbs down from Al.
thumbs down.
Thumbs down from Owls. Yeah, see, that's the problem, though. That's kind of why I asked, is because we talk about these things, but how often are we actually integrating them? That's kind of my question about this, because X has got some things that I don't use. I don't use a lot of the features that X Premium has got, and that's been a point of frustration for me. Is they talk about you pay for X Premium and you get all these cool features, but man, I don't rock stuff that much. I honestly don't find myself going and using that. They just introduced a new radar feature, but to me, that's unclear of what I'm supposed to do with it. And on Telegram, I've looked at the apps, but I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm asking everybody here, do you have one that you're just like, every day I love this one thing? I know NeuraHub and the team over there has got one, and they're going to be talking about it. So I know it would be too easy to get into that, but I'm just shocked that it's just trading bots, because you mentioned trading bots. But AGI, maybe, I know you use Telegram. I see you on X all the time. Do you have something that you're using on Telegram that was already in there that we don't know about?
No, not at all. I'm mostly using Discord because I like to use NFT to gauge some communities. For example, right now I'm launching AI 101, so tutorial. So people that own that kind of NFT will have access to the tutorial. So I find it extremely useful. So I'm mostly using Discord, but I see, well, Telegram mini app. I think since it's based on JavaScript, you can pretty much do kind of anything. I mean, you can even do AI in JavaScript. You just use a TensorFlow JS or things like that. So I guess Telegram mini app is just something that it's early beginnings, and I think you can integrate AI with that, and then it's become very interesting. Maybe some people will launch kind of AI agent. You can certainly do that. You can code AI agent with JavaScript, and I've been doing that since 2016. So they work very well. You use evolution strategies and so on, and maybe then you can design games with AI agents that are evolving on Telegram, and maybe you can launch coins and tokenize the agent and so on. So I think it has a great future, but I've not been using it as of today. So I'm mostly on Discord.
I think for me personally, like the branding of calling it mini apps makes my mind go to, oh, this is like a just for games or mini games and things like that. And I'm not much of a gamer. I've said this quite a bit. Like I find my work and my passions enough gaming for me. Like I don't really go towards gaming as much. Like I'm not going on my phone and playing Angry Birds or anything like that. But I do know that mini apps in the sense of Telegram is much more than that. Like I would love to figure out if anyone on this panel is using any of these mini apps. I know that these tap to earn games have been something that's taking off, but the word mini app is specifically what throws me off, and maybe in the mind share of me personally has not gotten me to actually dig into some of the possibilities of what I could be using. But I do know a lot of people are using these tap to earn games.
Is it as simple as if they had just called them super apps?
I
Like,
think that would be better. It'd probably give my mind a reason to dig into them more. And like if there's a way that it could actually impact my daily routine and allow me to be more productive and things like that, I would dig into it. But mini app to me just sounds like mini game and a way to waste time, which is not necessarily what it is. There can be really great apps that can onboard people. Like I know NeuraHub and Dave said earlier, just the vast number of people that these mini apps are able to tap into, and the immense onboarding potential that they could do. But I think there's something there with a little bit better branding.
that's so funny how it can be so simple. And I do think mini app is a bit diminutive. Now that you said it like that, I'm never going to stop thinking of it that way. AGI, we got a little bit of time before we're going to give NeuraHub and the boys the highlight over there. Go ahead.
Yes, I've been doing a little bit of research, and they seem to support a decentralized identity. So it could be useful for sovereign identity and so on, which is something that is coming and that will be very powerful. So I think it could be good for that.
I agree too. I also agree that I'm looking forward to this AMA. I'm ready to do this with NeuraHub. I can't explain to you how excited the guys are to be here today because I know that I've had an opportunity to chat with them a little bit ahead of time, and I got a chance to actually try out the NeuraHub. The NeuraHub. I don't want to call it a mini app. I just wanted to say a super app. The NeuraHub super app on Telegram. I got a chance to test this thing out already, so I'm super primed for this AMA, and I know they're ready to get into it. Dave, are you guys ready? Ghostwalker, you ready to go?
We are indeed. Although you've definitely got me with the mini app term as well. I think they called it a mini app so they get to be the main app, because they're effectively an app within an app. But we won't go too far into that.
All right. Well, I'm ready for you, man. And what we got to do first is set the stage because people may have been here earlier and they may have heard you guys talking, but we haven't really let them hear what NeuraHub is doing. So you guys brought us all together here today. The show has got your name in the title. What is NeuraHub from the top down for everybody listening?
So NeuraHub is effectively a place where you can do pretty much whatever you need to with AI. I mean, we've spoken around the kind of code that Telegram can now support, and you're very much right with that. So what we offer is effectively a multimodal platform where you can do anything from image generation using the brand new Flux model, which I believe not many people have got yet, to video generation using what is some of the best quality AI generated video we've seen, So it's effectively a very simple way for you to be inside of Telegram, but also have access to everything you need. So, it could be a video, an image, it could be a code snippet, it could also be music, it could be cryptocurrency for access. So what we look to do is we look to offer obviously all of the generative solutions that you need inside Telegram, but we also make use of something called function augmentation, which basically allows us to receive information from APIs, and then we use something called generative UI, which effectively allows us to present that in interactive applications. So we are the place which gives Telegram the AI functionality that Apple Intelligence, which they released yesterday. We were keeping a big eye on it, Pulse, and I'm quite underwhelmed actually by what they've released. But this is for Telegram what Apple have just released for iOS. It's a place where you can get pretty much everything you need, and for us, it's a start, and it's the way for us to then build on top of that and continue with the integrations.
And go ahead, Buzz.
Oh, I was just going to say that it's a good segue. Like I see in a lot of your branding and on your website and things like that, this term function augmented conversational AI. I love the buzzword, but can you maybe provide a little bit of background exactly what this means?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if you're using ChatGPT, you can ask it questions, but you can also ask it to generate an image. So, an image would effectively be function augmentation. So, you're putting data from outside of the LLM into the model. I think GPT use one of their models, but for us, we have multiple functions, multiple APIs, multiple information points that when you effectively prompt our model in the right way, it goes, oh, okay, we need the data from this place. If you ask for the weather, we retrieve the data from an API, which is then included into the model. So what we look to do with that is we look to give you the most simple interface, which is, hi, how can I help you today? You can ask it for a picture, you can ask it for video, you can ask it for pretty much anything you want, which allows us to kind of offer you the assistant which can do anything. And as we bring more functions in, we offer more possibilities within the model. Whereas, at the moment, competitor-wise, if you look at things like GPT, it's very much, one or a few different models. If you want video, you have to go somewhere else. If you want music, you go somewhere else. We give you all of that in one place, and we also do it at a cost price which is effective for people.
It is so fragmented. Like, you need to go to Midjourney, ChatGPT, all of these different places to do what you're trying to do as a consumer. But I do want to throw it back over to Paulson. I know you had an interesting question off of something that Dave said earlier.
And you mentioned Apple Intelligence as a comparison point, Dave. If someone here didn't know what that was, I know that a lot of people have Apple, but what if someone didn't? Why are you comparing to that? Why was that so interesting to you that it was not received so well?
So what's interested me, I mean, so the Apple Intelligence for these guys is a way for these to really plug into everything that Apple does. I know you can ask AI to add contacts. There is some interactivity within the operating system, but if we're talking, what does the end user want? The end user wants pictures, videos, images, things like that. Now, Apple does help you with, writing an email, but this has been around for years. For these guys who we expect to be the innovators, I expected to see more. Normally these guys can amalgamate a lot of different technologies into something new. But this time, yeah, it's very much text-based when, I mean, there's so much more out there that you can make use of,
It's kind of frustrating when you think about maybe the resources that they have at hand or the reach that they have, and that what they come up with is a sort of a version of Grammarly, which has been available for like 10 years. And no one's above criticism. And I think it's funny because we're supposed to be on the bleeding edge of technology out here. So I don't think that you're wrong for pointing it out that way. To say that we expected more, if I rewinded in about a year, didn't we feel sort of similar about their headset when it came out? Like, I feel like that adoption on their VR headset was also lackluster, and people kind of felt the same way. It was kind of left with like we expected more from that as well. Siddharth, go ahead. I see your hand.
I wanted to point out that it's important to understand the landscape of the foundational models. And if you look at, there are only two options, right? The commercial and the open source. And with respect to privacy, where it comes to the commercial models, you don't really have much. The advantage with the open source models is the fact that you can deploy it locally. But the cost of it is so high that it might not be tuned to kind of deploying it for every individual, one LLM for each. And that's where the real question becomes or comes out, is the fact that there are so many options today in terms of which models to use for what function. Until the fact that the entire crypto industry figures that out and solves the dilemma, I don't think that the crypto industry itself is positioned to create their own LLMs. Till that point happens, we are relying on commercial and open source models. And the question of data privacy will always be important because that is something that is not in our control.
For sure. Those are good points. I'm sure Apple and the other businesses are going to have to continue to worry about data privacy. What are some of the competitors that might be doing the same thing as you, Dave, on NeuraHub? Because we've been talking about Ton blowing up. I'm sure somebody out there is also working on this, right?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that. I mean, we've seen a couple of image generators, but what really surprises me is we haven't seen this combination. I mean, we talk about the models and how you have your open source and your commercial. For us, we make use of the very best, and we just bring it into one place. And it does surprise me that we haven't seen this yet. But I mean, after the response we had earlier regarding mini apps, well, maybe we're a lot earlier than we think, you know. So I think for us, it's almost a case of we've seen the potential to move into this market early. And no, at the moment there isn't really anything which offers the combination and the ease of use that we've got. And I'm sure there will be in the future, though. But at the moment, not too much.
Well, speaking mini apps are now what we're kind of calling within this panel super apps instead for better branding. What made you guys push this technology to a Telegram mini app within Telegram?
It's honestly, it's a case of we've been using AI within Telegram now for some time, and it can do certain things. You know, you can talk to it in the chats, but with Telegram releasing the structure they did around the super apps, I'm going to call it, with them releasing that structure, it opened the doors for us to really take it one step further. You know, and what was a contract scanner in a main chat, which unfortunately gives everybody the output. You know, image generators in main chats can unfortunately stop people from communicating. But with the ability to do it this way and actually offer the in-app experience, it was an easy decision for us. I mean, we've seen with the beta testing how people experience it, and it's exactly what we need. You know, it's the privacy of having the model, but still being in the place you need to be, which is Telegram. You know, the only thing about Discord we spoke about it earlier is the big shame for these guys is that they don't offer this kind of integration that Telegram does. I think that's where Telegram's kind of come into its own in the last few years, because you know what these guys have realised is that the ecosystem they have can be a lot stronger by what's built on top of it. You know.
So can you tell me about some of the goals that you guys have got for the application going forward? Because you're talking about today being a very big day, and today starts from here going forward, a completely different phase for you, right? So what do you got going ahead? What are your plans?
So we are, well, I actually do see the co-conductor in as a speaker. So what we're actually doing at the moment, we're taking this from beta testing, which was around a week, several thousand pictures and images deep. But yeah, we're looking to take that live as soon as we finish this space, and from there it will just be a case of scaling it, you know. And I can tell you guys there will be some free trials as well, so make sure to pop over, get yourself registered, and you'll be able to experience it within Telegram yourself pretty soon. So yeah, that's next on the agenda for us today. What we then want to do is obviously look for parity across the app stores. So I mean, a mini app isn't a mini app in the way that it's the same code as everywhere else. So we want it on Telegram, Apple, Android, you know, anywhere we can get this in front of people, which becomes useful for us. That's what we're pursuing at the moment. There are some other things on the roadmap for after, but at the moment it's about getting this to market, getting it in the right places, and showing people what it can do, you know?
Yep, the timing is definitely hot right now, just with the especially over the last week, just the trajectory that AI coins have been on and the mind share that they're owning. I'm curious, are there any other competitors that you guys know of that are trying to do something similar with AI within Telegram mini apps?
I really haven't seen any. It feels like it's such an early thing over there. I mean, like I said, there are a couple which handle images and things like that, but as far as bringing it all into one, I mean, if we're talking outside of Telegram, there are some people building great things, you know, there are some wicked projects, and it's good to see. But no, as far as this specific place, we managed to have a little free run at the moment. So yeah, we're going to make the most of that.
Go ahead, AG. I see your hand up. You got a question?
Yes. Well, I congratulate NeuraHub for doing that early. But the way I see that is in the future, everyone will be doing that, because neural networks are multimodal. So you can feed any modality and you can output any modality. So they are early, and congratulations to them. They have to conquer that market. They have to make a lot of marketing to secure that position. But ultimately, in a few months, everybody will be doing that, because it's natural to do that. It's the best way to do that. It's the only way to do that. And using all of those models all together in one model will make things even better for the AI and for the user.
Appreciate you, AGI, for pulling up. NeuraHub, if you've never been in a spaces with the AGI, he comes to our AI spaces all the time. I think you'd like listening to some of the things we've talked about with him in the past. I'm looking at some of the things you've got on this app because I've been playing it with myself, the video generation. Can you talk about a little bit why that was so important for you? Because as I've been playing with it, image generation is something I know that you just mentioned that even in, would you say, image generation in the main chat will kill communication. I've literally seen that happen. How important was it for you to get image and video? Because video is so much harder to do. Why did you choose to do that?
We've wanted it for a while, but to be honest with you, Pulse, it's a case of we don't just want to bring things out. These need to be quality-wise able for people to use. What really gets me about the video actually is something that someone told me yesterday. So one of our community was testing it. I believe he had a photo of his grandparents who are no longer with us. He was able to animate these photos and turn these into videos where people are waving, smiling. That use case really, really got me. I mean, videos are good enough where people can create content for themselves, their tokens, their business very, very quickly. So it is a case of obviously being able to offer these various things, but you know, it's all about the full experience for us, the full service. And I mean, AGI, you made a very good point. You know, these guys, they should already be multimodal, make no mistake. These guys have the ability to do it. It shouldn't be someone as small as us effectively getting in there first. But well, with our size, we're able to be agile, and you know, as these things evolve, it's on us to stay ahead of the curve. And I mean, it's a very good observation. And for us, it's just a case of trying to be in line with what's to come and to build this into our user base that we can acquire until everybody else catches up, you know.
Conductor, I saw your hand up when we were talking about video. You want to get in there?
Yeah, hi Shane, hi Buzz. Nice to see you again, guys. So I think when you mentioned like it was important for us to get image generation in and video. So I think it's more, there's more to unpack in there. Because right now, like on Telegram, you have those text-based bots where you send a prompt, like you have like a command like /image or /video. You put in your prompt, you get an image back, or you get a video back. So I think on that front, we were very lucky to get the best image generation model out there. That it just came out like 2 weeks ago, and at the same time, we were approved for the best video model out there to get access to it through the API. So we are very lucky to get the best 2 image generation models and video generation models. But what our multi-model agent or web app does, or a mini app, is that smart enough that it knows, like if you prompt it to generate an image video for you, it knows that it needs a reference image. So it's going to ask you, do you have one I can use, or do you want me to create you one? And then it will go and create you one if you don't provide it. But if you do provide it, it'll then send it over to the video generation, and it'll generate the video for you. And you can ask it to describe it, and it will describe it to you. So it knows all the context. It knows like all the capabilities it has and which models to call at what point, and gathers all the information it needs to fulfill the task. And if you come back again and ask it, I think this one of our community users noticed this, that he asked that again for the video, and it replied like, I already created the video for you. You can go and watch it here. And it gave him the link, which was further back in the chat to where he created the video. So I think like you get the best image generation, you get the best video generation, but you also get the best thing is the model is aware of what you're asking it to do and its responses and all of the inputs that it gathers. I think that's the best feature. And then you also have it within Telegram through your mobile app. And the last feature is that once you have your content, you click a button and sends it to you in your private message with the chatbot. So you can share it with your groups or other users. And I
found that.
Yeah.
That export feature was very helpful because you're talking about there's a button that when you're done with a generation, it's a one-click export to your chat, right?
Yes. Yeah. And we can also add it, like share it to a story or share it to groups. So that's coming as well.
Excellent. Go ahead, Dave. I see your hand.
Well, seeing as codes come up, and it's a nice occasion because I know a lot of people haven't heard him speak yet in our community. I do want to let you guys know as well, everything that we're talking about is obviously ready, but there is a hell of a lot more stuff to come into this thing. The function augmentation from us isn't as much as it is videos and text, as it is other things like a search engine or music or pretty much anything else we decide to put in there. So there's a lot to come on this. I know there's a lot for us to look forward to. A lot of it you will see and experience when this finishes, but there's a lot more to come as well. And there's a lot more things which I don't think people are ready for, to be honest. It's almost why we held them back to give you guys these things first, you know?
I can appreciate that. Keeping an eye on the clock, Dave, as we get here, I always like to give you and the guests an opportunity to go over anything that we might have missed. We have a huge audience of people that come to these shows. You know, there's a lot of people that come to Mario shows for alpha. They want to hear about new projects, stuff like that. So they've already clicked on your profile. Hopefully they've looked at the website and stuff. But the audience you've brought from NeuraHub and all the people that follow you and Ghostwalker here and Code Conductor, like you said, they're very excited for you guys to be up here with us. So two huge audiences. Very excited to hear from you. What would you have everybody do before we go? All these people assembled here. Call to action. How can we all help you? What are your final thoughts for all of them?
Thanks a lot, Pulse. So, I mean, I'll start by saying feel free to visit our website, guys. If you head over to the NeuraHub.app site, you will be met by a pop-up that will take you over to the mini app as well, which is just about to launch. So feel free to pop over, guys. As I said, you'll have a chance to come in. You're able to sign up with your Telegram. We don't collect any data. We keep it simple on that front. But what you will be able to do is generate yourself pictures, images, code. You can check live crypto prices. There's a lot of goodies in there. So we invite you over to that. But all I want to say apart from that is obviously it's been 7 months for us. We're not a new launch. We're not controlled by an AI or anything like that. Although I know a lot of people think code is AI, but it's been a really good experience for us, and we're obviously approaching a time where we get to really release something special. So we appreciate everybody that's worked with us. You know, it's been a really good journey, and for us, it gives us a chance to really put our mark on the industry. You know, bring something out which can be revolutionary, and well, we're not going to stop there. So come and join us.
Hell yeah, man. I hope everybody here does click on the profile and they want to check it out. Code Conductor and Ghostwalker, I appreciate you guys for coming to hang out with us too. I know you guys come up on the panel. You look good with your NeuraHub affiliate badges, by the way. I love them beside your name. They look great on you. Pink is a color that I enjoy as well. The comment section went crazy, NeuraHub. When we get done here, please take the time to comb through that, see if anybody ad tagged you for anything, because there's a lot of comments on this one. I'm going to go through them myself. I appreciate everybody that was listening to this show. I love AI conversations. I love Telegram conversations, because if I'm not on X, I'm on Telegram. I'm terminally online. That's Buzz and I's job. That's what we get to do, because we get to do these shows all the time. So it's our job to stay up to date with the pulse. That's my shameless plug. We also couldn't do shows like this without people like AGI and Creative Owls and Meta Prime. I appreciate seeing you guys here again. Siddharth, thank you for coming in. This might be our first one together, but thank you guys. Our speaker panels are usually comprised of the best speakers on X, so I'm excited to get together. And NeuraHub, I hope it's not too long before we see you here again. I genuinely have enjoyed playing with the app myself. That's my shameless plug. They didn't pay me to say it. I just think the video feature is cool. Otherwise, from Mario's team at IBC, I would want to say thank you to them for setting up the spaces. And then last to Buzz. Buzz is co-hosting with the most today. He's got a rack of spaces left to go. So follow Buzz to the next spaces. Buzz, you going to make it? You need a lunch break, man?
Yeah, I'll make it. There's going to be some more great conversations today, but I also want to just give a plug to Dave and his team at NeuraHub. I've had the opportunity to use. I haven't used the NeuraHub product yet, but some of the other products that they've built in the past, and even audited myself, and I'm a user of it. So definitely great builders in the space, and happy to have a conversation with them today. And just to wrap things up, definitely give all the speakers in the panel a follow. Thanks to all the listeners again. I see we have some great listeners in the audience. Shout out to Assure DeFi. I'm sure that Assure DeFi has looked into NeuraHub as well. They're a really great partner in the space that's making sure that projects who are launching are safe and KYC'd. And with that, everybody celebrate Bitcoin probably hitting an all-time high today. Appreciate